Hi, I'm Nick Priegnitz with Duramaxtuner.com. We're here for another installment of DT Q&A. The question today comes from Jason Corley, who writes us that he owns a 2015 Duramax with an EFI Live tune on it. He recently discovered his wife allowed the truck to idle for 45 minutes on several occasions to stay warm while at a kid's soccer game. Jason says he needs to know what the dangers of this are and what problems to look for as a result. Well, good news, Jason, and your wife. I don't think you did any major harm to the vehicle. Long idle times on a diesel are an issue. 45 minutes is not a long idle time in my opinion. Long idle time would be hours, okay? So 6 to 8 hours or longer. And there's a few things that I'd like to go over related to idle time, especially with new emissions equipment. So in the past, long idle time has been associated with top end failures on engines. Okay, so at idle, low oil pressure can result in a lack of oil getting to the valves and rocker assemblies and essentially shortening the lifetime of the engine on the top end. Oil pressure on these engines is up, not really an issue. Okay, second issue that you might run into is emissions related. Okay, so these engines, when they get to a certain number of soot grams, they go into a regen. That number is 44 grams on your 2015 LML. When the truck gets to 44 grams, it wants to initiate a regen. In order to do a regen, it needs to be road going. Okay, so it can't be at idle. This isn't a big deal until you get past this threshold of 60 grams, in which case the truck can no longer enter a regen in a road going mode. It takes a long time to go from 45 grams to 60 grams, much longer than 45 minutes at a soccer game, so I think you're out of the woods there. But what I will say to guys hot shotting or using their trucks for over-the-road use and maybe staying up at night at a truck stop when leaving the truck idle, is if your truck is near a regen, let's say it's 43 or 44 grams, continue to drive it until it goes through the regen before you let it idle for that 8 hours or 10 hours. If you start idling at 44 grams of soot and you get to 60, you're going to be in a situation where you need that service regen. And that service regen is not something you want to go through. So if you have an edge in sight, I see it get up approach 44, that means it's time to get back on the road, let the truck go through a full regen. And the newer trucks these days, they have on the dash, it'll tell you if it's time to go stay on the highway or continue your regen. So just follow the instructions on the dash. So good news, don't be upset with your wife. This is Nick with DTQA. I'll see you later.